Hello, it's Lolly. I'm back. I just recently did this, which is a passport cover, and I made it with Craftex. I put a napkin on it with Mod Podge, and then I stitched right here. I stitched the little pockets on right there, and really happy with how this turns out. I want to make another one right now, and this time I'm going to do the coffee theme, and this is for design team project for Auntie Vera Scrap and Craft. And so I have my cover, which is 5.5 by 7.5, and I have the two pockets, which are 5.5 by 1.5, and you only need to round two the corners on the long side, on the long sides for the pockets. Okay, this time what I want to do is I want to paint the entire front a light coffee color. Now, Craftex is very porous and it takes a lot of liquid, so let's see if that's not too much there. Nope, definitely not. So you could like put a base coat down of gesso or something. It's not absolutely necessary. I'm just saying that it's very porous, and in the past when I painted on it, I've just had a lot of problem getting it because of the dryness. It wouldn't blend, it wouldn't move, the paint wouldn't move well. So this time you can see I covered it really well, very well. I'm just putting one coat on there, and then I'm also going to paint the two pockets here. That was just enough. You saw how much paint that was there. So I have that cover dried, and I think I want to use the stamp set that was in the kit and stamp that with the Lawn Fawn Fundamentals Premium Ink Pad Jet Black. Now what I'm looking at is I want to make sure I'm centering this. The cover goes right to there, so somewhere right about here is where I want to put that. Then I want some of these little words that are in here. This one says Java time. Okay, I've let this set for a while just to make sure it wasn't going to be smearing when I paint, and I want to use some white paint and acrylic and just kind of get in here and paint the white parts of the cup. I'm gonna let this dry more, and then I'll give it another coat of white. And any area that of the black that I really want to stand out, that I may have covered over too much with the white, I will just go back in with a black marker and fix that. And in the meantime, I was thinking about these pockets on the inside, and that I might want to put half of a cup on there. Let me see how that would look. Like it was just over the edge like that. I know the whole thing wouldn't fit, but I thought it might look cute to have like half the cup or a part of the cup there. Sure, I turn this one the other way so the rounded ends are here and the rounded ends are there. That's done drying, but I want something else on here, and this I had stamped out earlier and colored in, and I'm going to punch that out. There is a die, and you don't have to have a 1-inch punch because there is a die in the set that is the Sizzix set here. Stephanie Barnard set. It's 662470 and comes in this kit. And I'm going to Mod Podge that right there. Regular just craft glue like Scotch glue does not really work too well to glue things onto a bare Craftex, but this is painted so it might work. But just to make sure, I'm going to go ahead and use the Mod Podge. I want to make sure this stays. don't care if any squirts out because I'm going to seal the whole thing in Mod Podge anyway. Now, while that's drying, you may have noticed, but on the stamp, there are these vertical lines here, and I just painted over them because I figured it would be a whole lot easier than trying to stay within the lines. But I thought I might want to put those back on there, so I'm just using a Sharpie marker. So while that Mod Podge is drying, yeah, and I'm not even sure about this, whether I'm going to paint these or not, because I like the unpainted look as well. But while that's drying, I've been thinking that even when this is folded, it might need something else. So I'm going to look at my stencils and see if I have anything that might kind of spruce this up a little. I kind of like the idea of this one. This one is an Americana, looking for the name. It's a 6x8 stencil. I see a code right there. I don't see a specific name for this one. DecoArt, just 201504. And it brings into focus something on your work. And I'm thinking if this were, like the coffee were the focus, I could radiate some paint from that. So let me think about that. I may tape everything down. I had some painter's tape, but it has disappeared. That'll be good. Now all I need is a sponge. I was going to use a darker brown, but now I'm wondering about this gold. This may be a mistake, but we'll see. Okay. I have this silicone tray that came with some gelato kit. I just realized the fact that I'm going to put Mod Podge over this is probably going to dull the gold anyway. Now, another thing to think about is I'm going up close to the cup, but not actually touching it. If I wanted it to go right up against the gold cup, what I could do would be to put a stamp this on paper, put the paper over the cup to cover it up and protect it, you know, while I'm doing this, but I'm not really that concerned about getting right up against the cup. And see, I have this word here, but I think I'm going to go ahead and put the paint over it and then write the word over it again. Okay, so I'm going to let that dry, and then I'm going to retouch up the Java time. I'm going to Mod Podge over it. If it dulls the gold too much, I just may go ahead and do the gold over the Mod Podge. We'll see how that works, but I love the way this has come out. Okay, so I did do a coat of Mod Podge on there. I'm happy with how the gold is still held up. I'm going to sew the pockets on the back side, but right now what I want to do is work on the insert. So I cut out a piece of paper from the collection, from the cardstock collection in the kit, and this is typical passport size, which is 7 by 5. And then I have about 10 pieces of paper here. And these are just printer paper, but you can see they're off-white. And so these are cut just ever so slightly smaller than this, like 1/8 of an inch smaller, basically all the way around. And this is just going to be a notebook, and I want to make notebooks that I can put in my passport covers and carry around and jot notes in. And I was just thinking about all the passports and how they have really pretty sort of faded activity going on in the background there. And so I got a couple of inks here, and I think I'm going to work on doing some of that. And I got another color here. So in order to make them sort of a faded look, sometimes you need to off stamp, meaning to stamp it on something else first and then onto your paper. And so I need to do each page, both sides, and realizing, oops, I meant to stamp off. I meant to stamp off. And this is a darker one here. I didn't clean my stamp. Like that. There we go. Like that. And I'm going to work on several pages here. And the other thing I have is the one that says, "Let's get a cup of coffee." Okay, so all I have to do now is sew this down the middle. So I am going to score that so I can see where it goes, or I might just, I think I might staple it. So this gets scored at 3.5. I really should have done the other side. That's okay, I can see it anyway. I'm going to put this right in the center and then staple it. All right, this is quite the mess, isn't it? Let's flip that over. Okay, there it is. You can see the gold did perfectly well under that Mod Podge. I stitched the pockets on. I did go ahead and paint one coat of paint on the inside here because it was, you know, smudged from paint being all over my work surface. I sewed the pockets in. I did not paint them. I may still be able to go back and decide to do it because I didn't Mod Podge over this. So if I ever decide I do want to put the painting on there, I can. There's one coat of Mod Podge here. I love it. So what I did was, like I said, when I had that stamp set, I cut out, stamped, cut out, and colored several of the coffee cup and these emblems. So I just glued one onto this. And this is the notebook here with all, I put some washi from the kit there, and I just have some light stamping here and there just to kind of give it interest, which I will just go ahead and write over that. So in it goes, and this, as I said, is just a notebook. So this is a passport holder, but it holds these little passport size notebooks. So I can carry this in my purse. I can use it for notes. I am in love. Now here is the first one I did, and this one was with the napkin, and I did not paint the inside of this. I will share with you the video on making this one. I love these. A completely different feel because this one, like I said, has a napkin and 2 layers of Mod Podge on it. This has paint and 1 layer of Mod Podge. It's more flexible than this one, but not by much. They are so fun. I can just see myself making a lot of these. And I was at World Market yesterday, and they had 3 different passport holders. They used to be around $15. They were on clearance for $9, and they weren't near as cute as what we can make on our own. So I think this is a real fun project. So I will also give you the links below to Auntie Vera's website and her blog, in which she was selling this kit for the Coffee and Friends theme.